Okay, started the 10-minute timer. It is Tuesday, February 17th, 8:53 in the PM. I adjusted things. I've got the fluorescent lights on, which they do produce a little hum. You hear it? There it is. I don't like them. But I wanted you to be able to see this. This chair, let's see, it's got the wheelie things. It's a cheap desk chair that I had sitting around here, one of the very small ones you can see, like with just the little back. And I also had this thing sitting around. And then one day I set this up on there to try to show what I wanted to build. It was funny. My brother was over and I was like, we need to build something for this thing so that way I can raise it up. And I put it on there and I was like, wow, it fits perfectly. And so I hooked it on with these bungee cables. This is a seat from a Walt Disney World attraction. Over in Tomorrowland, there is a building that it used to hold Stitch's Great Escape. And before that, it had Alien Encounter. And this was one of the seats from when it was Alien Encounter. Now, I can tell you, because this is made out of foam rubber on top of metal, I will say I did paint it. And I painted it a more purplish color than it originally was. I could still match it. It was like a maroon, but I thought it didn't look that futuristic maroon. And I figured, it's mine. I'm going to be sitting on it now that it's attached to this chair. Might as well paint it a nice color. But I'll show you how it would sit into this large contraption at Alien Encounter. And up top here would be a little mechanism that would be able to touch the back of your head and harness that would come down and keep you in place. So for this attraction, you would go into a room, you would sit on this chair, and then a harness would lock you in place and you would be trapped in a dark room. And then the Chairman Clench, I believe, would say, hey, we are going to use our teleporter to bring me down into this room. And all of a sudden an alien would be in the room with you. It was a big monstrous alien. It was originally supposed to be the alien from the movie Aliens, but apparently they couldn't work that out. The attraction said from the mind of George Lucas, but I don't think George Lucas actually did anything other than receive a paycheck for it. But the alien they created, whoever created it, was right in front of you. Giant animatronic alien. And then the lights would go out again. And you, sitting in this chair, you would feel the alien's breath on the back of your neck because there's a mechanism up there. And then I think at one point you'd feel him lick your neck. And so they had something that would come out and do that on the back of your neck. Then there were misters that would be in here that would then spray at you, I think, or the person next to you, behind you, in front of you. I'm not sure exactly how it worked, but it would look like a speaker. And I think that's where they hid the water effect. May have been just only right back here and sprayed at the row behind you. I'm not sure how it worked, but I do remember the alien bit somebody and the water effect was like warm water that was supposed to be someone's blood just spraying across the audience at this Walt Disney World attraction. And as you can imagine, people were a little surprised by this, especially parents. They were surprised by it. Now, this seat, I'm betting, you can see it's foam. You can see where it's damaged, and it's foam on top of metal. I'm betting they swap these out really often. I would say if this thing lasted a year, I'd be stunned. Just based on the material, I'm betting that these would probably get broken up, worn out, and swapped out very often. Now, how many of these remain? I don't know. I can't imagine. That number is super high, although it would probably be thrown off by the fact that there's probably a warehouse that has dozens of these that they don't know what to do with. I bought this many years ago on eBay. It cost more money to ship it than it cost me to buy it. I want to say I paid maybe $50 to ship it, like $5 for the actual seat. I put it on just a regular, was just a regular old little rolling office chair. But And by the way, like the very small one, like you may be thinking of the ones today are huge. These were the like the first gen of these that you get in your house. They would come apart, and you'd get them in a box the size of like maybe like a small cake, and then you'd have to assemble this silly thing with its plastic wheels. Anyway, the Disney attraction, people were scared of, people were surprised by, and so they toned it down almost immediately. The first change that they made was to add sound effects to the overall experience, so that you would hear a guy say, "That looks like my mother-in-law," and people would laugh, and the laughter, they hoped, would ease the tension among the children watching in the audience. And I think there was a part also where a kid laughs and goes, "This isn't really scary, this is fun." And you would hear it like all the way over there, so it sounded like it was somebody else, and you were like, eh. And I remember I always was like, man, that rude guy is in the audience every time I come see this. Like literally the first time I absolutely believed it. The second time I was like, I think somebody said that the last time I was here. And then the next year I was like, okay, this is part of the tape. But anyway, the attraction was, I think, unpopular. A lot of people have very fond memories of it online, but I think this was one of the Magic Kingdom's less popular attractions, because you were sitting down and then a harness went on you. And I remember everybody I knew was like, I thought we were going to do something awesome when the harness came on. And then when it was just this spooky, show, it was all right, But I think now we look back on it and say, hey, this is like almost a banned attraction, an attraction that they kicked out because it was too scary. I mean, that just sounds super cool. And so I have a fondness for it. They replaced it with Stitch's Great Escape, which used basically the same chairs and everything, but the pattern on them was different. So this is definitely from when it was Alien Encounter. It was also known as initially Alien Extraterrestrial Encounter. Disney used to do this a lot. They'd give rides like very long names, and then they'd be like, it's Countdown to Extinction, and then later they were just Dinosaur. We just shorten it up a bit, because people aren't going to always say It's a Small World after all. They'll usually just say Small World. Anyway, Stitch's Great Escape replaced this, and for promotion for that, and I don't remember the year, but I remember this happened like right around my birthday, which is November 22nd. So it was somewhere around there that the new ride opened, or the new show, because again, it was a harness, but it was a show. When that one opened, they celebrated by having Stitch there. He was the most popular character in all of Disney at the time, having him there on his, I think he was on his motorcycle, and he had toilet papered the castle, and they had spray painted on the side. It was very clearly plastic had been laid down and then spray painted on, but it said Stitch is King, and the attraction opened up. And in his version of the attraction, again, sitting in the same seat, same effects, same layout, everything very the same. Even the beginning of the Alien Encounter had this character Skippy, and they just kind of morphed him into like this Alf kind of puppet monster, because he had to fit in with the world of Stitch. In that one, they bring Stitch down. And so Stitch is there right in front of you. He's enormous. This is one thing that they said kids didn't really love it, because they're used to little Stitch, and they're also used to Stitch after the first 20 minutes of the film, when he loses his extra arms and his, fins that come out of his back. And in this, he had all that. He was scary, and he was, frothing at the mouth, and just looked like a terrifying monster. Lights go out, and Stitch starts walking across us, but he's being mischievous, and he's like like kind of singing while he does it. And then he argues with somebody about a chili dog. He's like, that's my chili dog, and the lady's like, it's my chili dog. And you're hearing this argument in perfect sound. Again, it's this binaural sound where it sounds like it's coming from another part of the audience. But then Stitch burps the chili dog right in your face. And then There's a few more funny effects like that, and it wraps up with Stitch chasing Cinderella into her bedroom, I believe, at in the castle. So it's like, oh, we're back on Earth. But I liked that one. It lasted a while, and then it closed. And I don't know what they're going to do with the space, but they do not have a new one. But I have the old chair, the chair from one of the most terrifying attractions ever at Walt Disney World, an attraction that we will never see one like it again. So there's that. I'm out of time. I'll see you tomorrow.